Good. All right. Um, yeah. So yeah, these guys wrote C. Basically, they were writing C and B and Unix all at the same time, and it came out of that. Anyway, uh, where were we? Week 4.
All these computer guys look like music.
Well, you notice, like, I think all these computer guys have beards. I think it's very, very stylish. So, like, have you guys ever seen, what's his name? Can't think of his name now.
Candle.
No.
Solomon.
Free Software, not Free Software Foundation. GNU Project. What's his name? Stallman.
Yes, Stallman.
Yeah, this guy started the GNU Project.
The guy that said he'd be fun to party with.
He does look like he would be very fun to party with. You know, his contributions to the open source world are like completely unparalleled. But he's been known to be a little odd. But you know, like I think what he's done for the open source world is awesome, and
He looks a little bit like Tommy Chong.
he does a little. Yeah, he is Free Software Foundation. I was right. Oh, interesting note. Speaking of Free Software Foundation and freedom in general, the EFF co-founder, which is the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the co-founder is actually from Wyoming, down basically Pinedale area. His name is John Perry Barlow, and he's from Wyoming. He's a cattle rancher. He was a former lyricist for the Grateful Dead and current lyricist for String Cheese Incident and a couple other jam bands. He is a cyber libertarian, and he started basically spearheaded the creation of the Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is awesome foundation. If you guys haven't heard of it, I highly recommend checking it out. But just kind of a technological related note, he was also involved in technology. He has a really interesting story about, if you go to his site, it's just a really interesting story about how he was at a convention at no, it wasn't at Sun, it was Next. Computers was having a convention right next to his convention, ended up meeting, I think his girlfriend or whatever at the time. Very interesting story. I recommend checking it out. So, but more on to what we're talking about today. We're talking about web servers. And web servers are the internet, basically. I mean, that's what drives the internet. Every site you go to on the internet is run by a web server. And I pulled this up. This is the January 2015 web server survey, which shows that currently Apache is in #1 position at 39.11% of all the web servers in the entire world. No, sorry, 39.74 as of January. 39.11 for December. But Apache is an open source web server that we're going to install and we're going to set up today, and it runs 39% of the web's servers. So chances are, in a given day of surfing the internet, you're going to hit Apache more than once. Second to that is Microsoft's IIS, and Nginx, which is another open source web server, is 14%. So just from a free operating system that you can download, anyone can download any flavor they want. They can download Apache and Nginx for free and be among, basically almost half of the world's servers that host on the internet. So that is one of the reasons I want to just kind of hammer in that, you know, this is a huge deal and this is a professional thing. If you want to go get a job, chances are at some point you're going to be running across Apache web server and you're going to be installing it and you're going to be using it. I like Apache. I think there are some better alternatives, but the thing is Apache has everything and the kitchen sink included, and it works great. You know, you want to set up Apache to do whatever you want to do, you know, it'll do it. So we're going to go, and actually this is a bad example on my machine. So we're going to go, I'm going to fire up my virtual machine. There we are. We're gonna start up my virtual machine here. Hi. So a lot of the commands that we were using last week we'll use this week. I will try my best to slow down, but this is something I've done probably nigh on 1,000 times at this point. So I'm going to do my best to slow down, take it really slow, and show you guys kind of the slow and easy on how to install Apache. It's really what I'm doing is actually getting it set up to do something other than just the default behavior. No, I'm starting up my VM to show you guys what to do. So I'm going to go full screen on this. So I'm going to go up here and start up a terminal, maybe. Can you see this on the cast? I hope. Yeah. I get paranoid that.
I'll check for you.
I get paranoid that like some of this isn't going through on the screencast. So.
I can give you some thumbs up.
So what's that? I did. I had a really busy week last week, and so I forgot to post it. Actually, I didn't forget. I just didn't have time to get on. Doing it from my phone is painful at best. So I posted it just now. It's not super necessary that you go in and like do every little bit. It is good to review it because we are going to be talking about it. At least the commands that we use later on. So my bad on that one. I'm sorry about the video last week.
You're good.
So I'm going to go to root by doing a sudo -i. Yep, I'm very aware. By the way, this is just a good idea if you're a systems administrator. Like these 3 rules are very important to pay attention to. Respect the privacy of others, think before you type, and with great power comes great responsibility. Like literally, this is hard-coded into the sudo program, and I love it. It's hard-coded, it's in the source. I love this saying. I really encourage this behavior. Anyway, we're root. We're ready to go. I got a hash sign, that means I'm root. So I'm going to clear just so we have a clear slate to work with. I'm going to do a yum install httpd. And so I was talking about Apache, but Apache is actually a foundation. It's a software foundation, kind of like Mozilla Foundation makes Firefox. Well, the Apache Foundation makes a web server called HTTPD, which quite boringly means Hypertext Transfer Protocol Daemon, which in the Linux world A daemon is the same thing as what you'd call a service on Windows. And for some reason, I already have it. Do you guys already have it?
Mine
Yeah,
didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. Were you root? Nope, it did it. And yours said. You need to do a CD dash I. No, CD. That's UDO.
SC dash.
You can. There are very good reasons to use CD though. No slash. And I take your password. And you get silent? Maybe? What? You have to be root. CD to root. CD dash I. And you're getting your password. It's your normal user password for sudo. Yum install HTTP. Now, for some of you, it may already be installed. Like mine just says, package is already installed, latest version, nothing to do. So that's cool. Is everyone else having that same message? Yes? No?
Yep.
You're a jerk. All right, that's not bad. I'll wait for it to install, or at least say that it's already installed, so everyone can be on the same page. Let's see. Just use C dash. Let's do that. Space dash. There you go. Is your internet live? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You attempt to hack into your own system. What? Are you on the interviews? Probably not. Interviews. The internet. It's a really dumb joke. Wired. Click that. Say connect. Cancel that. Okay, now do that. Just hit up and enter. All right. It's yum install. Oh, and no action bar, just yum install HTTP. It's yum space install space HTTP. Oh. Okay, you're also not connected. So either wireless or I have a cable. You're pretty short out for that switch. So you can also plug in here and get fast into cubes. If you want. Okay, already installed. So that's really good. You know, in 20, they didn't install it already. So, you know, kind of takes the wind out of my sails. But that means it's already installed and ready to go. So to test to see if that works. Uh-oh, what do we got here? Oh, jeez. Phone call in the middle of class. Love it.
No phone for class, Steve.
Actually, I'm looking at a new truck. And now it's going to my Google Voice. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can just plug that in and you'll be able to get in. So HTTP is already installed, so I'm going to check to see if the service is running, which we can do a systemctl space status HTTPD. And it's saying inactive dead. So if I hit up and replace status with start, it's going to go ahead and start the service. And if I hit up twice and now go status, it says running. I've even got a little green dot here. So to test to make sure that works, I'm going to go to Firefox.
So after you found out it was dead, you did a systemctl start?
A system, yeah, I did a systemctl space start space HTTPD, and then I did a status to show that it's running. And now in Firefox, I'm going to go to my local host address, HTTP localhost. And look at that. I have a Fedora test page. So that's literally, I think, 4 if you include sudo. Well, 5. We'll say 5. I did a sudo-i. I did yum install HTTP, which really wasn't necessary because it was already installed. And then I did a status of HTTPD. And then I started it, and I checked the status again by doing, I checked the status again. And then I went to it. And so that's it. That's as complicated as it is. So, now you are running what basically 40% of the rest of the world in terms of external web servers is running. So you guys got it tested? You got it open in Firefox? Yours looks like it's running. That's good. Yours is also running. You're very close. You have to get that installed. So go hit yes. And then do a systemctl start HTTP. You check yours?
How did you break it up to that?
So it is what your HTTP.
So,
Here, right?
No, Firefox.
You type it in your
I'm sorry. HTTP. ://
type in your text.
Well, sorry.
Local.
And that's it. Okay. And you started it?
You actually just
That's it. That's it.
click over the edge until you get
All right, so you started? You got it installed. Did you start it? You got it installed, so now you have to start it. So systemctl. All one word. Space start. Space HTTPD. And now refresh that page. Okay, good, awesome.
So Yum is
Yum is a package manager. And actually, this is a good point to talk about that. And I'm going to go back to my desktop just so I can make sure I'm still actually broadcasting, because that's annoying. We even have audio, man. This week might just be my lucky week. So I want to talk about Yum. Yum stands for Yellow Dog Updater Modified. There was originally back, I don't know, this was quite a while ago. There was a distribution of Linux called Yellow Dog. It was basically a port of Red Hat Linux to Macs. And the Macs originally were on Power architecture, so they weren't on a regular x86 Intel processor. They were on a Power architecture or Power PC architecture, like a Power Mac G5, if you guys remember back that far. Those were a different processor type than, you couldn't just install Windows on it like you can now. And they made this version of Red Hat Linux called Yellow Dog, and they created an update tool for it called Yum. Or originally it was called the Yellow Dog Updater, called Yup, and modified, this is the modified version called Yum. And Yum is actually pretty cool. I really like it. You know, some people have their, you know, preference for APT. I don't care. Like, apt-get is great. apt is a great interface for updating your system.
I thought you didn't like app.
I don't, but for what it does, it's great. apt is awesome. I personally don't like it, but it's personal preference. Like, you know, some people like Ford, some people like Chevy, some people like Dodge. I like Yum, you know. It's kind of like that, except there are a lot more choices you can make. apt is a decent package management system. I don't kind of like the way it works, but I like Yum and the way it works. And the way Yum works, I'm going to go and do it on my system because it's a little easier for me to work here. Let's say I want to search for something. I can just do a Yum search Blender, because I don't think I have Blender installed. I was reminded of it here just earlier today. I don't know if it was during the broadcast, but I used to be big into Blender.
What was some of the stuff you made?
I don't.
Blender?
What's that?
What Blender?
Blender is a 3D modeling tool. Blender is amazing. So here it's basically, if you guys have ever heard of 3D Studio Max or Maya, if you want to do 3D artistry, or like, say for example, you want to make a movie, a 3D animated movie, like Monsters Inc., for example, Frozen, right. That was made in a program like Blender. Blender has been used to make a couple small, low-budget movies, but nothing really crazy. Let's look at, photorealistic rendering. Like, this is actually not real. This is an image that was generated by a computer. Well, really a person making a computer imitate real life. I mean, that looks pretty good to me. Maybe a little bit too sharp on the textures on the orange, and this is way too regular. Like, I've never seen one of these things that looks like that. It's way too regular. But that's really good. Like, I can critique that, but I can't do that. If you're a designer and you want to design things, you can do quick mock-ups in Blender. So this was entirely made in Blender. So if you wanted to do 3D printing, you can also export from that. And this is amazing too. This is 3D animated. Like, this isn't real. That is a completely computer-generated image, and that is beautiful. I mean, that is amazingly beautiful. I can't do that either. Rigging, like if you want to do animation, you can do that. There's a whole animation toolkit, sculpting. Man, if I had a Wacom tablet, I would that's all I would do all day is sculpt in Blender. A Wacom tablet and a 3D mouse. You can also do gaming. There's a game engine in Blender, so you can do 3D games just really easily, because you set up all that rigging and all that animation, and then instead of like making a static frame-by-frame rendering, you can bake some of those textures in there, especially with low poly, and then use Python to create a game in Blender, which is really pretty cool. Anyway, back to Yum. So I did a Yum search Blender, right? And it gives me all of the things that are related to Blender, and you can see Blender is highlighted. So I want to install Blender. Yum install Blender. So I remember back probably week 1, I think, we talked about going to software and installing software that way. This is how you would do it if you don't like GUIs, and I don't like GUIs. So I did yum install Blender. It goes through all of these repositories I have, and now it's updating one of the repositories. So every time I run yum, it'll go out and it'll look at what packages are out on the internet and update that list, and it downloads that list so that I can. I killed that because it was running slow. So there we go. It has all of what is required for Blender to install. It's saying to install Blender, it needs to install OpenColor.io, OpenImage.io, Fonts Blender, GemAlloc, LibSpinav, OpenClada, PujiXML, and YAML CPP03. Okay, whatever. Yes, I want to install that. Just hit the Y key and enter, and now it's downloading, installing this program for me. So I don't have to go to their site and go to the download process and, you know, like Windows method, right? You go to Blender's site, you want to download this, but no, all I got to do is type one command, and I'll have it. You know, it's installed. So that's 9 of 9. Once this is done, it'll give me a nice little report saying it's done.
That was cute, Steve.
Jazz hand. Maybe it'll tell me it's done. Possibly.
Kill Dash 9.
I don't want to kill Dash 9, not in the middle of an install.
Mine is going up to 25.
Yeah, mine is, but it's stuck and it's current with the complete.
Yeah, it happens. And not everybody will have like just 9 packages to install. Like I might have already had some packages that were already there. So if you did it, it might have like 22 packages installed, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so
You have 25? Yeah. So everyone's a little bit different. I have some other stuff installed on my system, I guess. Jeez, what is this thing doing? I think it's already installed. I think it's lying to me. So because I think it's lying to me, I'm going to search for it. Yay, it was lying to me. Oh, verifying. Now you got to be like that.
complete.
So there's Blender. It just opened up. And here we go. So you start out in Blender with a nice little cube. And I even forget what I'm doing anymore in this thing. It's been so long.
Looks a bit like AutoCAD, honestly.
It's not at all like AutoCAD. And if you ask an engineer like the difference between this and AutoCAD, they'll list off all sorts of ways in which it's different. And you know, it is. It's not. This is an artistic tool, whereas AutoCAD is more of an engineering tool. This is designed for making movies and making still imagery, and that's cool. I like that, but you know, I'm not really an engineer either. So, but this was just more or less just an example of showing you how to install stuff that isn't already on your system. And if you guys are interested in 3D modeling, like that's also a pretty cool career path. So, Linux is also heavily used. Like ILM wrote their own renderer, and they used to use Solaris quite a bit. I don't know what they use anymore. Solaris and SGI. I don't know if you guys ever remember SGI, but if you remember Jurassic Park, like the original Jurassic Park back, this is Unix. I know this. That terminal was actually an SGI file browser 3D. Oops. So you know, with a Linux background, you can go and you know, do stuff with 3D animation. I don't know how often it's used, really. I don't know if the internet sucks, and I hope this is recording okay. But like, I've been having a trouble like getting to sites tonight. I hope I hope this video turns out. What is it? SGI File Browser 3D. Hello, computer. Oh, good.
I can read the box and everything, I think.
Oh, awesome. The system is down. Can anyone get to the internet?
Yes. I am. Yeah.
I can click on it with my mouse and read the box.
Nope. I can. I'll pull up one on for you guys, but I'm not having any.
Are you on Riley Wi-Fi or are you in the colleges? Really?
Wi-Fi's fine.
But it's coming out to the same place. Oh, there we are.
Oh yeah,
That's weird. So sorry if this is not recording and or doing whatever it's doing properly. The internet in here is flaky. And
I'm getting 16 megabits per second.
Are you on like writing?
no, I'm on wired, which is better actually than the Wi-Fi. So I'm sorry everybody who may or may not actually be able to get this.
I'll check.
Anyway, so one of the things I also wanted to show you guys how to do, and I'll go back to my virtual machine for this, is I'm going to go full screen again, drag up, put in my password. Now we've installed Apache, but doing the default test page is one thing. I want to show you guys how to do something kind of cooler. It's just create a simple HTML web page. You guys don't have to know HTML. You can copy me verbatim if you want to. HTML is a really simple language, so I highly recommend you learn it. Just as a personal development thing, it's really good to know. So I'm going to go to. I'm actually going to do this the easy way for you guys. We're going to install gedit. And I'm not really going to do a text mode editor yet. We did it last week with Vim. I can show you how to do it using Vim, but I'm sure half of you guys will be confused, so I'm sorry. I'm going the easy way out. Hopefully you guys will appreciate that. So I did a yum install gedit. Now I also added a switch on that of a -y, which automatically said, yes, I want to install it. And now it's updating, which probably means it was already installed and I didn't really even need to do anything. That's okay, because now I'm going to go to this directory. I'm going to go to cd var www HTML. There's slashes in there, so it's /var /www/html/. So I changed that directory. I'll show you that I'm in that directory by doing a pwd. And now if I do an ls, there's nothing in there. This ls just took me back to that. So now I'm going to do a gedit index.html. And it's going to pop open gedit for me. And this is where, if you guys don't know HTML, you'll probably have to go back and watch this again to see what I'm typing, because there's going to be quite a bit. It's not too much.
What did you do after you had HTML?
I did a gedit index.html, and I just hit enter after that. So I have a start tag of HTML, a start tag of body, text saying welcome to Linux class, an end body, and an end HTML tag. And that is perhaps the simplest HTML that you can write and be perfectly valid. I hit save on it. I'm going to close this. And since I have Firefox still open, and I can go to localhost, now if I hit refresh on localhost, I will get the text, welcome to Linux class. Neat. You got it?
Yeah.
You got it? You got it?
No, it's index and then
Index.html.
dash.
Got it. You got it? Yeah? You have to do a get index.html. Got it? And that is your file. So you just type all that in there.
Oh.
Right, pops up. Yep. You good? You good? Good in there? Awesome.
I still understand what, yeah.
It allows you to install packages and programs. So, for example, you want to install a game, install it from that. So everything that software thing is, Yum is just a text way of doing that. So installing up in your system. So you can update your entire system off of that one command, just so you can Yum update. You can also search for new software, install software, remove software if you don't need it anymore. You need in tags after that for Monday.
With Yum, you have to do update and upgrade.
No, you don't. Oh, I think that's on a 4 note. You're good there, just the wrong slash. To do that's the other, this one. That, and then other slash. Forward slash. That one. Okay. And then same thing for HTML. The beginning and end. Save it. And then go to your Firefox and add it down where that is. And now refresh the page. There we are. Nice. So this is a very, very simple example of how to make a website. And this actually extends on a conversation I was having before class too, that no one in the entire world writes websites like this. Like, it is just a waste of time. What's that? It's a waste of time because there are so many things that can do it better and do the HTML rendering for you. And we're actually going to do that next week. I think it's next week. We'll do WordPress and we'll do not Wikipedia, MediaWiki, which is what Wikipedia uses. And what those do, they allow you to edit the source of the web page without actually having to know HTML, without to do any HTML. And they allow you to customize it if you do know HTML, but doing hard-coded HTML is like 1995. Like when I was in, elementary and middle school getting on the internet, people wrote web pages like that, and they looked awful. One, because it was really, there's a lot of work that goes into typing all of that code just for a single web page. And there are so many content management systems out there that are free and open source that make rendering your own HTML kind of pointless. So we are going to be doing that, but this is just that introduction to get that ground layer, so then we can do WordPress. WordPress is awesome. MediaWiki is awesome. You can do your own Wikipedia, but on anything you want, and it could be yours. So that's all I have for today. Send me a screenshot of your welcome page, of your custom HTML that you wrote, which, if you just follow along with me, awesome.
You like us to send it to Gmail?
Please, yeah, please send it to my Gmail, because honestly, I get it on my phone, and I can at least see it, and I may respond. Sometimes I don't, because I know I'm busy and I don't have time to dedicate well thought response. And I don't like just doing like a yes or no email because it's, you know, I feel like you guys need more out of me than just a yay or nay, you know. So apologies for not being very on top of things. Things are settling a little bit in my life, so hopefully this week I'll be able to answer all your questions in a timely manner. Also, follow my YouTube channel, and you can actually then just not have to wait for me to update the YouTube link, and you can just see it on my feed. Zero. Oh, interesting command line thing. If you want to shut down your system, there are two ways. One, there's a shutdown command, which it works better if you spell it right. That works. Or also, there's a concept of run levels in Linux, and you can actually tell the system to go to run level 0, which is shut off, like machine off. Run level 6 is reboot, and we'll get into other run levels here after a bit, but if you want to shut it down, a really easy way of doing that is just doing an init 0, and that'll shut your system down. And as you can see, my VM is shutting off, and I'm good. So if you guys have any questions, please email my Gmail account too. Please email me just if just to check in. I like hearing from you guys, like seeing your experience with Linux. I hope you guys are having fun. I know it's been a little slow, a little confusing to start out with. Just, bear with me. It does get cool. I think Apache is really cool, especially because it's and then, doing WordPress I think is just awesome because it's WordPress and people will pay good money to WordPress somewhat. So you'll have the ability to know how to do that for yourself. So, cool. Thanks, guys.